The sound of a cane tapping softly against the marble floor echoed in the empty hallway. It was late afternoon, and the Khan mansion stood quiet, bathed in golden sunlight. In one of the rooms sat an elderly woman, her face wrinkled with years of sacrifice, her hands trembling slightly as she tried to pour herself a cup of tea. Her name was Aisha Begum, the proud mother of one of the country's youngest millionaires, Zayan Khan. Her son was away on a business trip, expected to return in 3 days. But fate had other plans. The hook. Zayan's private jet landed earlier than scheduled. His deals had gone smoother than expected, and he couldn't wait to surprise his mother with his early return. He imagined her warm smile, her trembling arms pulling him into a hug, and her soft voice blessing him endlessly, just like she had done all his life. But as he stepped into the mansion quietly, wanting to surprise her, what he saw froze his heart. From the hallway, he heard a loud, harsh voice. "Old woman. How many times have I told you not to interfere? You useless burden." And then came the sound he would never forget, the dull thud of a kick. Zayan's eyes widened. It was his fiancée, Maya, the woman he thought he loved, towering over his frail mother. His mother stumbled to the ground, clutching her side, her teacup shattering across the floor. Zayan's breath caught in his throat. He felt his chest burn with a mixture of rage, betrayal, and disbelief. The backstory. To understand the weight of that moment, you need to know Zayan's journey. Zayan hadn't been born rich. He had grown up in a small 2-room house on the outskirts of Karachi. His father had passed away when he was only 10, leaving his mother to raise him alone. Aisha Begum had worked tirelessly, taking stitching orders, cleaning neighbors' homes, and sacrificing every comfort, just so her son could get an education. "Study hard, Zayan," she used to say, her hands raw from needle pricks. "Your books will take you where my hands could not." And she was right. With her blessings, Zayan excelled, earning scholarships and later starting a small tech company that grew into a multi-million-dollar empire. Yet, through all his success, he remained grounded, remembering who had stood by him when he had nothing. So when he met Maya, a stunning, ambitious woman from a wealthy background, he thought he had finally found someone who could walk beside him into the future. She was charming, elegant, and said all the right things in public. His mother had her doubts, sensing a certain coldness in her eyes, but Zayan dismissed them as mere generational differences. The moment of truth. Now, standing hidden in the shadows of his own home, Zayan watched as his mother struggled to get up. "Please, Maya," Aisha Begum's voice cracked, "don't treat me like this. I know I am old, but I am still his mother." His mother? Maya spat, her face twisted with contempt. "You're nothing but dead weight. Do you think I'll waste my youth serving tea to an old hag like you? Once I marry Zayan, I'll make sure you're sent to an old-age home where you belong." Another kick. This time to the fragile cane lying beside the old woman, sending it clattering across the floor. Zayan could take no more. "Maya." His voice thundered through the room like a storm. Maya froze, her face draining of color as she turned to see him standing there, his eyes blazing with fury. "Zayan, you're back early," she stammered. But Zayan wasn't listening to her excuses. He rushed to his mother, kneeling beside her and gently helping her up. His heart shattered as he saw the tears in her eyes. "Ammi, I'm so sorry," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "Forgive me. I should never have left you alone with her." The confrontation. When he turned back to Maya, his entire demeanor had changed. No longer the gentle, easygoing man she knew, he was every inch the powerful, unstoppable businessman who commanded empires. "Pack your things, Maya," he said coldly. "You will never step foot in this house again." "Zayan, please," Maya cried, her voice shaking. "You don't understand. She provoked me. She—" "Enough!" Zayan roared, his voice echoing off the marble walls. There is no justification for raising your hand against my mother. She gave me life, she gave me everything. And you showed me who you really are. Maya fell to her knees, her crocodile tears flowing freely. I love you, Zion. Don't throw this away because of one mistake. Zion's lips curled in bitter anger. Love? If this is your love, then I want no part of it. A woman who cannot respect my mother can never be my wife. Leave, before I call security. Maya's mask slipped then, and her face hardened with venom. Fine. You'll regret this, Zion. Women like me don't come around twice. But Zion didn't even glance at her as she stormed out of the mansion, her designer heels clicking against the floor. His only concern was the fragile woman in his arms. Healing wounds. For weeks after the incident, Zion stayed by his mother's side. He cancelled meetings, delayed deals, and put his entire focus on nursing her back to health, not just physically, but emotionally. Why didn't you tell me, Ami? He asked one evening, his voice heavy with guilt. Aisha Begum sighed softly. Because I didn't want to burden you, Beta. You already have so much on your shoulders. I thought I could endure it for your happiness. Tears welled in Zion's eyes. Your happiness is my happiness, Ami. I swear, I will never let anyone hurt you again. And he meant every word. The turning point. Word spread quickly through the city's elite circles about the broken engagement. Many whispered, some mocked, and others admired Zion's decision. Business rivals thought his personal life might shake his empire, but Zion only grew stronger. Instead of wallowing in betrayal, he channeled his pain into something meaningful. He established a charitable foundation in his mother's name, the Aisha Trust, dedicated to supporting elderly people abandoned by their families. Every week, he personally visited old-age homes, donating resources, spending time with the residents, and listening to their stories. The media captured these moments, and soon, people began to see him not just as a millionaire, but as a son who carried his mother's values into the world. The unexpected blessing. Months later, during one of his charity visits, Zion met Hira, a humble social worker. Unlike Maya, she wasn't dazzling with wealth or glamour, but her compassion and sincerity shone brighter than any diamond. She spoke gently to the elderly, held their hands with respect, and treated every soul as though they were her own family. For the first time since the heartbreak, Zion felt something stir within him. His mother noticed too, and her eyes sparkled with hope. Hira is a rare gem, Aisha Begum whispered to her son one evening. She may not come with riches, but she carries gold in her heart. And for once, Zion agreed wholeheartedly. The inspiring conclusion. A year later, the Khan mansion was alive with joy once more. Not with empty pretenses or superficial parties, but with true warmth. Hira had become a part of their lives, not just as Zion's partner, but as a daughter to Aisha Begum. One evening, as they sat together on the veranda, Aisha Begum placed her frail hand over her son's. Zion, you have built empires, but your greatest wealth is not your money. It is your character, your loyalty, and your love. Never forget that. Zion kissed her hand, his eyes misty. Everything I am, Ami, is because of you. The story of Zion spread far beyond business circles. It became a reminder to countless people that success means nothing without respect for those who raised us, and that true love is found not in appearances, but in compassion and integrity. The message. In the end, Zion's story wasn't about the betrayal of a fiancé or the wealth he had accumulated. It was about something deeper, the unshakable bond between a mother and her child, the courage to stand up for what is right, and the wisdom to recognize true love when it appears. Because in a world obsessed with status and wealth, Zion proved one timeless truth. A person's greatest treasure is the one who gave them life, and the respect they show to those who stood by them in their darkest hours.